Do you guys remember a few videos ago when I talked about the anime director and how he hinted that Wano, the final antagonist, might not be Kaido? It's looking really suspicious right now, don't you think? So here we are. Green Bull is on his way to Wano, and so we're gonna talk about Green Bull a bit and what I think Green Bull's plan is for Wano. Now, this chapter was a lot. It was a lot to take in. Some would call it rushed, and that's a valid point, but we don't care about that right now. Right now, we're talking about Green Bull. What do we know about Green Bull? Well, first off, Oda somewhat confirmed his devil fruit is plant-based in some way. Could be a mythical zone, or a mythical zone plant god, a forest god, but also what he said earlier upon his introduction, well, somewhat introduction in 905 when he got some dialogue, when he said he hasn't eaten in 3 years. Now, in this late stage, where the Straw Hats have recovered for the most part, but they're clearly still injured, and all the fighting is over, it's a week in, why is Green Bull pulling up to Wano? One could say the reason why he's so late is because he got lost and he's finally made it there. And that goes back to the theory about Green Bull being Zoro's dad. I know you guys have heard about this. Maybe I think a year ago is when it was most popular, close to that, when we were talking about Ushimaru and there was a picture of him and his jacket had a green bull on it. Then people are comparing Green Bull not eating and Zoro's introduction as well, where he vowed to not eat to save the little girl. So there are similarities there, I guess, but I'm not going to jump to the conclusion that Green Bull is Zoro's dad. I'm not going to go there. Would be really cool, but not going to go there. Either way, Green Bull's purpose here, I think, is to serve just as a liaison. Again, in this late stage of Wano, the fighting is over. People are still hurt. And sending one admiral in, I know most people don't probably give the admirals the credit that I think they deserve, because I think they're really damn strong, right? These people are the strongest fighting force of the Marines, right? The organization has been in power for eons. There's a reason why the Yonko cannot just go and trample upon the world government. The admirals at least make them wary. But either way, one admiral is headed to Wano. How would the Straw Hats fare if they jumped him at this moment? I mean, they probably should beat him, right? Having Luffy, Zoro, Yamato, Sanji, they probably should beat him, but I think when Green Bull gets to Wano, it's going to be a completely different scenario. Some are saying that Green Bull's purpose of going to Wano is obviously to kidnap Nico Robin. Some are saying Green Bull's purpose to going to Wano is to wreak havoc and be somewhat similar to Thriller Bark when Kuma pulled up towards the end. I think that ship has sailed because I don't think Green Bull is strong enough to pose the threat that Kuma posed. Luffy is literally a god now, and Zoro, who knows if he's literally a devil now, and Sanji with Ifrit Jambe, he's probably a mixture of the two. Either way, it will not be a walk in the park for this admiral if he decides to engage in combat with the people that are currently there. I think it'll be in Green Bull's best interest to not do so, even though I do believe his devil fruit power is one that you can't figure out easily. You'll have to decipher it, and therefore whatever attacks you try probably would not work. So that brings me to my point about the reason why Green Bull is actually in Wano. I think Green Bull is going to restore Wano. All the lush plants, etc. All this will be restored because Green Bull's power, it's obviously revolving around plants. Yes, I think Nico Robin could be his goal, but when he gets there, maybe he could be from Wano. He realizes his hometown is completely destroyed because that's something that was mentioned early in Wano. Even in the flashback, how lush Wano was, how Wano had amazing plants and just the area, the aroma, everything about Wano was amazing, and because of Kaido and Orochi, it's a barren wasteland. I think Green Bull goes there and fixes that, but also delivers information. I think he talks about the bounties. He's probably the one that relays the bounties to us as the audience while talking to the Straw Hats. I think Green Bull also talks about what's to come, the SSG, and how the Straw Hats should be wary because next time they meet, it will not go as well for them. The reason why this is necessary is because I can't see Oda putting the people of Wano through another battle, and a battle of this caliber would only cause more destruction. So I think this is more so of a checkup. Green Bull is going to Wano to let them know what's going on, and also for the audience, a big check-in and say, okay, this is what's happening. We have Sabo, we have Boa Hancock. This has happened. What are you going to do about it, right? And I think he has some connection to someone there in Wano. Not exactly sure, but there's a reason why he will not engage, and maybe he could kidnap Nico Robin. It doesn't make sense for a couple reasons. Well, they need Robin to get to Laugh Tale. And so if Green Bull Bull kidnaps Nico Robin. They would have to get her back, and then after that, go and find the One Piece, and then after that, fight Blackbeard, or even before that, fighting Blackbeard, then go back and face the world government. That seems a bit backwards. That's why I don't think Nico Robin will get abducted here. Even if she is abducted, it could be a test from Green Bull, because there is a report, or there's an excerpt about someone asking Oda a question about Ryukyu and Fujitora about them secretly hating the Marines, but they want to be there to enforce change. For Green Bull, maybe he's aware of the Joy Boy legend, and he's coming to confirm it himself. Once he sees that Joy Boy is real, he may be betting on Luffy to completely change the world. Guys, we cannot forget that even though you're an admiral, a marine, a pirate, or a revolutionary, everyone has a backstory and situations and things that they've experienced. So when we see young Akainu, young Blackbeard, young Kizaru, all these people have experiences, and for Green Bull, maybe he at one point believed in Joy Boy. Maybe he believed in the Sun God. And so there will be no serious combat happening in Wano. It just does not make any sense. Now, Green Bull, again, I explained that his powers will be there to change the landscape of Wano, but again, also delivering the message of what's to come for the Straw Hats, or just for the world, updates as to who's been captured, who's been killed, I guess, and really just update the audience. I am always intrigued when Oda introduces a character. So Green Bull, upon his introduction, I was enamored. I was like, oh my gosh, we have to see what he can do. And it's been quite a while, right? Chapter 905 is when we first got some dialogue about Green Bull. Of course, we heard about Green Bull all the way back then in Dressrosa, and Doflamingo was talking about Fujitora and Green Bull having power to spare. Now, 1054 or 53 is where we'd see Green Bull and maybe his appearance and maybe something he can do. Is 200 or 300 odd chapters later. That's insane, but that's Oda and how he does things. I guess quickly we can talk about the ending of Wano and just how it's affected us. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't think the ending of Wano has been the greatest. I think it's been pretty good. I think the last chapter was pretty hype, so I really didn't care about all the other things, right? I think the main thing is consequence, and that's what people have been clamoring for. It's funny because death has happened, right? Izo and Ashura Doji, and then people are still saying that, hey, well, those deaths are insignificant. We don't care about those characters, which is true. Right? I 100% agree with that. We don't care about Izo as much, but we don't care about Ashura Doji. And also death to justify consequence. It doesn't really make for a good narrative, but I think the main thing when I talk about consequence is for Zoro pushing himself that far. It seems to be a-okay. Of course, they didn't wake up for a long time. They were asleep for 7 days. So I guess there's no real consequence there, even for Luffy, and going to Gear 5 basically twice in a short span. Really no consequence, just sleeping for a long time. The consequence could rear its head once Green Bull is there and they can't really support anyone because they're still heavily injured and still recovering. But to me, none of it was a big deal. You guys know where I stand with Wano. Still think it's a top 5 arc. Had the potential to be top 1, but there's no way I'm putting it over some of my faves. And objectively, I think there are at least 4 arcs better than Wano. But I can't in good faith put it outside of my top 5. I've had too great of a time with this arc. Next chapter is going to be bonkers. I made you a prediction video where I expound upon more things that I foresee happening, just because we're going to go on break and there's not going to be any One Piece content for a while. You know, I might go on break as well.
You what?
Nah, I'm gonna be uploading stuff, but this is gonna be a really huge chapter because it's gonna establish a bunch of things, like who the future Yonko will be. I have my horse in the race. I'll reveal him soon enough. And then future events, what's to come? Where do we go? Is it gonna be Elbaf for sure? Is it somewhere else? I think this is the most exciting time, I think, of an arc. The ending, the wrap up, the updates. And I think that's what Green Bull is here to do. Update us and to pose a threat and somewhat make promises and also set up future matchups. People are saying Sanji could fight Ryukyu. I don't think Sanji's in a position to do that right now. I think you'd lose somewhat badly because, again, I think Green Bull's power will not be easily deciphered. It's going to be a complex power, of course, revolving around plants, but not eating for 3 years. Tell me that you are literally built different, right? And Sanji is as well because he is, you know, of Smoke. But the admirals, I think they deserve the respect and we will respect them as such. But guys, how do you feel about this ending, this last chapter, and just a wrap up? Really sudden. What's going on with Kaido and Big Mom? I made a video before the chapter came out. I was going to release it next week. Doesn't make any sense anymore because everything I talked about pretty much happened in a chapter. I talked about a 3-month time skip and how Oda could use the time skip to not really focus on Big Mom and Kaido because, hey, time has passed. Something happened. You guys don't know. I'll tell you at some point, right? I thought Oda would do that and it happens. It's like, what's the point of talking about a possible time skip? It's already happened, right? I thought it would happen after our break. Like going into the break, Oda would probably say, hey, time time skip or coming out of the break, but he did it immediately, and I think it was perfect. Giving the Straw Hats time to recover, but it somewhat takes away the consequence of what Zoro and Luffy was able to do. I'm excited for the next chapter. I think it's going to be one of the biggest chapters of the year, and I'm super excited. But guys, give me your thoughts. What do you expect from the chapter? What do you expect from Green Bull? And where do we go from here? Guys, One Piece has limited time left, but we can celebrate the series and just have a great time, right? But guys, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDH. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys all so much. Again, guys, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.